What is up, everybody? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2. Your boy is back, and now we're going to go back to our regular programming. Regular scheduled programming. I think that's how you say it. So, this episode is titled, How to Face Tough Realizations with Yourself. Because some of those can be really hard, right? But before we go into it, simple announcement. So, as you already know, that I will be doing life coaching now for some of you who are out there and need more of a coach in some of your areas regarding relationships, in the sense of yourself, and how to connect with other people. I got you. So, I will have a link in the description below. You can click on that. You can see the prices. We can schedule a consultation and we can go from there. See if you like me, see if I like you, see what I offer helps you, and we go from there. That was it. Quick, simple. Now, we're going to switch to the fun fact. So, I thought this one was pretty interesting. So, with the fun fact, we all know, we've all heard of Game of Thrones. Unfortunately, I am no longer in that 1% that just never watched it. Everybody and their mom, their grandma, their ancestors, their dogs, all of them, their pets, the birds was telling me, just watch the show. I'm like, I don't want to watch the show. I finally caved in and watched the show. So we're going to go a little Games of Thrones moment. So, I'm going to come at you guys from the left side. The fun fact, Queen Elizabeth can't sit on the Iron Throne from Game of Thrones. So, okay, you might be like, okay, but bro, okay, why not? So apparently, Queen Elizabeth visited the set of Game of Thrones, but because of an obscure rule, she wasn't allowed to sit on it. The ruling monarch can't sit on a foreign throne, even if it's fictional, apparently. So it's kind of strict there, but it's like, they just made it up, but you can't do that. So I guess, we all have our limitations somewhere, but I'll leave that where it is. Okay. So, as I told you all before, this season starting off is more on focusing on you right now because of the times that we're in, the time of opportunity, because there is nonsense outside these doors, and that's okay. We gonna eat this, and we gonna thrive from all of this. That's what we're doing here. Okay, this is the podcast of positivity. Okay, we're not going to do that negativity. Okay, this ain't the podcast. Y'all can look for some other stuff. So let's get through these tough realizations, because I've come to discover, not only with myself but with other people, that we all have some stuff about ourselves that some of us don't want to face, and then there are some of us we do face them and deny, and then there's the other group of people who have a hard time facing some of our realizations, especially about ourselves, right? Because nobody wants to deal with that, you know what I mean? Like, I got this going on, I got that. Now when I get by myself, bro, you trying to tell me I need to work on me? Bro, I ain't trying to do all that, but bro, I'm trying to help you. Sis, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help y'all live y'all best life, right? So, as y'all already know how this is gonna go, I always expose myself because that's what we gonna do here. I can only expose me. I can't expose nobody else. Unless they say, hey, fact, can you expose me on the podcast? Like, I got you. But I do the exposing of myself to be real with you all. Let you guys know, like, hey, everybody goes through something, right? And just giving you solutions on how to get through the tough realizations about yourself. Now, some of us obviously have tougher ones than others. We're all different experiences, all different backgrounds, so we handle things a bit differently, right? So let's keep that in mind. So I'm gonna give you guys like 3. And what I want you to do is really just like focus really on, okay, this is what it was, and just like how you go about the solution, right? I'm gonna tie it all in, you'll see, but just really focus on the solution. Because y'all might know somebody that's going through this, or you yourself might be going through this, and I'm helping you out. So, number 1, first realization, the tough one that I had about myself was that I used to beat myself up because I didn't know any other way to be. It was immediately, if I did something probably not the best way that I wanted to be, or if it wasn't perfect, or if it just didn't go the way I wanted to, I immediately just beat myself up, call myself failure, or I'm trash, or just like, what are you doing? Like, okay, now you need to go suffer a little bit. Like, all right, yeah, it's like you didn't do as best as you could be. Suffer a little bit more, and then just like I used to destroy myself. Not like too bad, but it was just like more in the mental, like you could be better. Okay, you did that, but that was 95%. I need 105. So it's just like all of us. I feel we beat ourselves up here and there. Some of us more than others, and I think a lot of people can relate to this. But how I came about this realization was that I was sitting down talking with a friend, and it was just a very vulnerable conversation. And I was in a moment of weakness, we'll say. And I was just talking with this friend, and as I was just letting him know kind of some things that I was just going through and experiencing, it just hit me that I was like, to be honest with you, bro, I just feel as though that, yeah, I could be better, but I just beat myself up because I don't know any other way to be. And that is just what I've been so used to for this long, and I haven't done anything to change that. I know I could change it, but I haven't, and I haven't chosen to do that. So for my up until that point in my life, I just chose to beat myself up. Now, it hit me that I just confessed this just flowingly, right? And in so doing, I had to think, okay, I know I beat myself up mentally, so it has to let me stay in the mental. And what I realized was that we all have these voices in our heads. The voice in our head that beats you up, or maybe or don't give up. We all have those different things that motivate us. And what I realized was I don't have a voice. Like, I haven't created a voice in my head to support myself, to tell myself I am doing good, or that I did the best that I could. And it was just really a simple shift in thinking, and I just had to imagine, like, there was, for me, I imagine it first in my head, and then it just becomes automatic. So what they say, it begins in the mind. But I just started to think, like, hey, let's talk about support. Like, how can I support myself? Who is it in my life that has supported me the most? And how did they sound when they did that? Like, I had to go back there for a little bit. I had to trace that step. Who was it that was the most supportive? How did they speak to me? And when they spoke to me in that way, how did I respond? How did I feel? And so when they would support me, they were like, it was calming. It was like a little push, like, you got this, you can do this. Like, hey, you did your best. Like, that's what really matters. You tried. So I had to create that voice in my head of, hey, you did the best that you could with what you knew, with the resources that you currently have or had. And I had to start saying that to my head, like saying that to myself, like, bro, you did what you could do. You did your best. And the part of me that wanted to say, no, you could have done better, you're trash. It makes me laugh, but I mean, that's just how I would talk to myself. Like, nah, bro, you trash. And it's like, no, like, let's be better. Like, I don't want to be trash. Like, at least can I upgrade to a recyclable material? But no, like, I call myself trash. You know, you would think a positive person would say, like, you know, a positive thing instead of trash. Like, can I just be like, I don't know, paper material, or I don't know, like something that could be reusable, green energy? Nah, I just thought trash, and I was just like, oh my god. Now I'm looking back on it, it's like you could have positive, you could add a little positivity there. But anyways, you had to create that voice, right? And in that voice, it was just I had a choice. So each moment something happened, I had to choose right then in that split second, beat myself up or support myself. And then what helps with the choice sometimes, especially in the beginning, what helps with the choice is, okay, I know what's going to happen if I listen to the voice that's going to, beat myself up. I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to stress myself out. I'm going to focus on that, and I want to perfect it. That's not how I want to run my energy. Versus the supporting voice, I say, hey, you did good. And you did your best. Right? And when I do that, it opens my mind up to like, you know what? I did. And at the same time, yes, I learned from what I just did, and now, I can grow this however I want. It's a different feeling. It's a different space. It's a moment, right? So that was something that I had to do for myself. So if you are the type to really beat yourself up, it may sound weird. It may sound crazy. That's usually the things that really help you when it sounds weird and crazy, because it's different. And a lot of people are not talking about this. So you're welcome. I would say, create a supporting voice in your head. Like, really imagine it. So what I did, I just literally sat down and imagined there were two parts of myself, the one that was attacking me and the one that was supporting me. So do that for yourself, If you're sitting down right now and you're home, unbothered, undisturbed, then, take a moment, pause the podcast, take a moment and just really just create that different version of yourself. Like, hey, you're awesome today. You could go and exercise. But if you don't, rest. When was the last time you rested? And it's not saying that it's creating excuses, because I know I am the type, like, I'm like, nah, I don't want to create no excuses. Like, no, I feel like you just trying stuff. Oops, my phone is on. I am so sorry, y'all. Back on silent, you go. So, yeah, just sit down and just do that and really just tell yourself. Oh, that's what I was saying. So yeah, it's not excuses. You know what I mean? You just have to learn how to speak with yourself. That's why I say start with the blueprint of who was it in your life that did support you the most. Now, what I'm sensing when I said that is some of y'all out here are saying, well, I didn't have nobody that supported me, so I can't try that. Well, goddamn it, you got yourself. You had yourself. When you popped out, there you were. So you start from scratch. You create that part of yourself. How would you want to sound if you were supported? Who were some people? What show did you watch that there was a supporting person, right? Go from there. Create your own dynamic. Do you support yourself in a calming way, in a more stern way? Play with it. Be a third grader. Create. Imagine, right? Okay. The energy died down a little bit. Good. That hit y'all. Okay. Second thing, right? So the second tough realization that I would say I experienced was that I gave others a lot of quality time and I gave myself very little. Now, before I continue, let me drink some water, because I don't want a certain somebody text me saying you sounded like you was throat was dry. But anywho, yeah, so I gave others a lot of quality time and I gave myself very little. I feel like a lot of people do that more than you think, right? You do so much for other people. You go out, you go help them. They're stuck in something, you'll go out of your way, but you don't really do that for yourself. And a lot of people may say, well, no, I kind of do it for myself. If you do, great. But For some of y'all that don't know and you think you know, like I thought I knew, but I didn't know. I'm not got you with that, right? I thought I did, but in the reality of it all, who you been around? The reality of it, I don't even know if that one's right, but in the reality of it is, when I would help other people, especially if they were going through something, I would spend sometimes hours on the phone. I don't regret it, but you don't regret it. But so how do you really feel bad? I didn't really mean but. I meant to say and or. So I didn't regret it. And what I did and what I realized was that when it was time for myself, I only gave myself 3 minutes. I gave this person 2 hours and 47 minutes and 52 seconds of my life, and I only gave myself 3. That's a real bad return, bro. Like, shame on you. But you will find that some of us do that. Like, for example, I'm gonna take this far because I really want y'all to get it, especially if y'all go through this or you do this yourself. Like, someone may call you for help, and you will probably pause your plans, move things around, and you will go out and you will go help them. And you will make sure they're good, and you'll bring them home, probably get them something to eat, whatever it is, that's the case. But let it be you. Meaning that there's something that you need to do for yourself, but you won't do it. Why? You're either tired, you don't feel like it, or something's going on. But why is it that you won't go out the way for yourself? Why is it that you won't go out the way for yourself like you would someone else, right? And if you really just sit back and think about it, like all of us, we go out of our way or we help people in our own different way. So let me give you an example. Me, like I said, I spoke with the person on the phone, helped them out, gave them advice, talked with them, different things like that. It was a whole therapy session. I'm not a therapist, y'all, but a lot of people be wanting me to be a therapist. I don't know, that might be something new that we add into the mix, but keeping on. Whole therapy session. And I would find that I would not do it to myself. Like, I would not sit down with myself, away from the phone, and ask myself, like, Thaddeus, how are you doing today? What are you going through today? How are you mentally, emotionally, physically? What is it that you need that you really can't really tell nobody else that you need? What is it that you need to be energized or to feel yourself again? Do you need rest? Okay, if this is bothering you, why is it bothering you? You might want to talk to somebody who can help you with that. Like, just as I talk with other people, then I can do that to myself and give myself that time. So I can talk to this person for an hour and help them. Okay, well, I'm going to find an hour out of my day, phone on airplane mode, away from people, preferably to a place nobody know where I'm at, so I can't be distracted, and to really give that hour to myself and just talk with myself, or maybe just sit in silence. And just maybe that's what I need. So it's just like, what is it that you do for other people that you can do for yourself? And I guarantee you, if you pay attention to like what I'm saying and you really look into like the difference, like an amount that you give other people compared to yourself, sometimes it's much higher that you give to others, and it's really low for you. And I keep stressing this because what you'll discover is that it'll ultimately lead to like a burnout in some way. And burnouts are expressed in many different ways. You might get irritated. You might not be very irritated. You may not have the energy to do stuff for yourself, for other people. The thought of helping someone just turns you just completely off. You ain't eating right. You're not exercising right. You're not in your flow. You know what I mean? It can just really mess you up when you don't give yourself that time. So you just have to have that harmony with yourself and the other people, because you don't want the burnout. I had that burnout, and I would ignore people's phone calls, text messages. I didn't want to go outside. And if I had to go to the grocery store, I was praying that nobody talked to me or recognize me. Thank God we got these masks for now. people would be like, hey, let's do this activity. I'm like, I don't even want to be with myself right now. Like, I really don't want to be with you, and I really don't want to be with myself, so this ain't gonna work, you know? It was just bad, you know? And it's just like, it's because I wasn't giving myself the time. So, the solution, make time for yourself. Really, that's really what the solution is. If you experience any of that, make time for yourself. You have to make sure you're right first before you're able to help someone else out. So there's that. Now we're gonna go to the third one, and I feel like we've all heard this in a certain type of way, but it's 2020, so y'all gonna hear it again. The third one, a tough realization that I had is like, when I'm not doing what I love, life was more of a chore than it was like fun. And y'all think I'm probably exaggerating when I say life is more of a chore, but here we are. I'm going to bring y'all into the session. So life was a chore. Like, gosh, I really gotta wake up tomorrow and breathe. Like, y'all probably laugh like, did this boy really say you gotta wake up tomorrow and breathe? I gotta wake up tomorrow and breathe. Like, I really gotta, I gotta wake up. And then I gotta eat. Ain't that something? Not only did I'm here on earth, I gotta feed myself. I gotta go out. I gotta go to work. I gotta pay this bill, that bill. I gotta see this person. I don't even like this person. Now I gotta go in a place and breathe the same air as them. I already don't want to breathe for myself. Now I gotta breathe with them. Triggered. And then hygiene. You know, you gotta make sure you gotta get all of that. Then just too much. It was just like too much. You know, y'all probably like, bro, you stupid. I'm so serious. Like, when you're not really like doing the thing you love, life becomes a chore. Like, you get irritated easily, you get stressed, you get triggered, like dog sneezing and you irritated, like, oh, he got the Rona, and it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, you go somewhere, somebody's wearing something that they know they shouldn't be wearing, and now you irritated, and it's like, now I gotta deal with this. Like, now my day is thrown off because you didn't want to wear what you knew you were supposed to wear, and now you just coming out here just looking absolute. You know what? I'm triggered, right? Y'all probably just like, this boy really crazy, but I'm so serious. Like, I'm so serious. Like, there's some times where I just woke up and I'm just like, I'm upset. I was like, I'm really upset right now, and I just be upset because I woke up earlier than my alarm or whatever. I'm like, no, like, I wanted to put you on snooze. Like, now I'm up early and I can't go back to sleep. Now I gotta get up and feed myself. Upset, right? All right, so got that out the way, right? But I feel as though a lot of us, when we're not doing what we love, you know, life can really be more of a chore. Like, you know, you're getting up, you're working, you doing all of this stuff to pay bills, and it's, you know, up, bills, eat, repeat, all of the stuff in between. But it's like, it's different when you're doing what you love. And in this time that I was silent on the podcast, you know, one of the things is that I was really just trying to like just unlearn, relearn, remove, let go. It was just this whole process of things, and in that process, I didn't realize it towards like recently that life was just, like I said, it was a chore. I was happy to be alive. Don't get me wrong. Grateful, very grateful, but it still wasn't enough. Like, I would say I was operating on a good 57% on a good day, right? And I realized that, I mean, I love the rain and all of that, but I was just like, I just wanted to just rain every day. And it was just, you know, a different hit to it. And so when after talking with some friends, and, you know, everybody's just kind of doing their thing, trying to figure stuff out for themselves, and I feel like all of us, we all trying to figure out stuff, right? Some of y'all like, bro, I'm trying to figure out stuff, right? Nah, man, I know, bro. I know. Me too. And sis too, sis, I know you should. So my bad, sis, And so just trying to figure like all of these things out, and I realized that wow, when I was not on the podcast, or when I wasn't doing what I felt I could be doing, I didn't have that energy. But when I started doing it, I just got energized. I need 8 hours of sleep for me personally. Actually, 8 hours ain't enough. I need really 10. We ain't gonna go there. But when I'm doing it's like when you're doing what you love, you can probably take 4 hours, 2 hours, or whatever. The sleeping, you back up and you just got a bunch of things on your mind and ideas and everything flowing. Like you feel alive, you feel this energy. Like next thing you know, you're working on something. You started at 8 p.m. and next thing you know, it's 3 something in the morning. And you're like, whoa, where did the time go? Right? And then you're like, gosh, man, I got to be up for work in whatever these few hours. And you just start thinking and just getting creative. And so I feel like a lot of us right now are, the best way I can describe it is not to say that I'm set in this thinking, because I feel that I have more of an evolving mindset, but that's another topic. It's either one or the other. Either you are doing what you love or you're not. And then at the same time, there are those who are on the fence. And when I say on the fence, I don't mean it in a way where it's just like you just don't know what you want to do. I mean it like you're in the middle. Like you really want to just focus 100% on what you love to do, versus you gotta go to work and get this money up so you can invest that into what you love to do. So eventually you can do 100% of what it is that you love. And sometimes that can be a little draining because you're not at 100%. And speaking of 100% with this, is that a friend of mine, we had a very great business talk. And one of the things that he told me, he was just like, it's very hard trying to grow a side business of yours, especially if you're not able to put 100% of yourself into it. He was like, a lot of the times you're at work and then you coming home, you tired or whatever, and it's not quite 100%. You put in, maybe on a good day, probably like 40% into it. Not to say that, it's not to say that you're lacking. It's just to say that majority of that energy, your time, like your mental, your physical, your emotional, all of that is going into, it could be that 8-hour day. Sometimes some people out here working 12 hours. So a lot of that energy is going there. And so when you get home, you got a bunch of stuff you gotta try to do and then you got a few hours to do what you gotta do, because you gotta redo it the next day. So it's like, I got this 1 hour or 2 hours that I can spare to put this in there, which is, if that's what you can do, that's what you can do. I mean, do something. But it was just, when he was talking to me about that, he was like, it's just different when you're at 100%. And I feel like we all experience that 100% probably like on that day off. We done got all of our rest, we done got all of the errands we had to do, and now we got that whole day to put into whatever it is that we love. And obviously there's time management. You can make things work. Everybody's schedule is different. But I'm just saying, with that example, is that sometimes we can't put 100% in there, and that's okay, as long as we can do something about it, as long as you can put something towards it and do what you need to do. And then sometimes all of us got all of these ideas, our intuition, and they be telling us, hey, yeah, bro, you need to cut this over here, move this over here, and things just work out perfectly. So you good. But for those of you who are just not doing what it is that you love, I would say really just sit down and have a conversation with yourself. I don't know what your name is, so if your name is Michael, have a come to Michael moment. Like, Michael, what are you doing? If your name's Jessica, have a come to Jessica moment. Jessica, what you doing? What's going on? So really just sit there and ask yourself, like, are you doing this because you were told you got to do this? Are you doing this because it's the only way that you think it'll work? Are you open to other things? What is it that you love? What, really sit down. And I would even give you this extra tip. If there is something that you really love to do, but you're not sure how to live, in that, find somebody. Find someone who's either doing something like similar to what you want to do, or I would say, a coach that's doing something that you would love to do. Find that person and ask for them to mentor you. And if you got to pay money, put that money into it, invest that into yourself. And so that's a tip for y'all, right? So the solution with that, I would say for me, because all of us, we're all different. Now, my solution was that a friend had to talk to me about just kind of reclaiming myself and my power again. And in that time that I wasn't doing what I loved, I kind of lost myself a little bit and I lost my power. And I feel like we go through that sometimes, especially when we're in the middle of our own stuff. Like when we're helping other people, we can help them. We can see stuff that they can't see, but when we're in our own stuff, that can be pretty hard. And so it took a friend to really just kind of read me and just like, basically in the talk, she was just saying like, yeah, you just kind of lost yourself. And, there was in the past, you had this oomph about you, this glow, this buzz, but now it's kind of like you mellowed down a little bit. And I felt that it hurt. That was tough. That one was really tough for me, like to hear that. Like I kind of felt like I let a lot of people down, but hey, it was all with purpose. I had to learn things. And so it just ignited me to just get things back up and like running, and voila, we have season 2 and other stuff, right? And all of us go through this. I know this in this third one, I kind of hit a bunch of different things, but I just feel like all of us can relate. And wrapping this all up when it comes to facing these tough realizations is that, especially about ourselves, is that all of us have them, right? Some of us deny them, some of us face them, some of us we're aware, but we just leave it where it is. So I would say ultimately, the how to, wrapping all this up, the how to face your tough realizations about yourself is, number one, address them. Sometimes you realize some certain things about yourself and it's like, dang, I didn't even know this. And we're so caught up in a world right now where everything is so fast. Like, stop, take a breath, take a moment. If you're that busy, write it down and just plan a time to address it, because after a while, something's gonna happen, something's gonna change, and you're gonna have to face that. Like I said, this is the time to face it because the Rona done did some things out here. So some of y'all got no choice but to face yourself, because y'all got some work to be done inside, and that's okay. We need that. We need you to be better, because when you better, majority of us are happy and happier, and you happy, because the attitude is just, it's not cute no more. You know what I mean? Just fix it, right? So number one, address them. Number two, dissect them. Like, get to the core of it. Like, really, once you address it, like, a lot of people's like, well, I'm addressing it. Isn't that dissecting it? No. It's a little deeper. Dissect it. Here's what I mean. Okay. Well, I discovered this about myself. Why is this the way it is? What made me this way? Why do I believe this is the way it is? This happened when I was younger. My relative said I was this, that, and the other. Okay. You a grown individual. You're an adult now. What you gonna do about that? You gonna let that stay there, or you gonna change that? So really dissect it. Really get to the core. Where did it come from, right? These realizations about ourselves, right? Find the third one. Find the solution. Really look for the solution. If you don't know, ask someone who has either experienced it before, or just talk about it. You know what I mean? Ask the question. So if sometimes a lot of us, we can get to the addressing, we can dissect it, but sometimes we just don't really know what to do with that. Talk to someone about it. If you don't have anyone really to talk to, this is where you're going to have to do. I don't have a term for this, so work with me here. There is a way that you do things to find a solution, right? I always go back to the basics. So what I mean by going back to the basics, there's a method, there's a system that I go about. Everybody has a system that they go about to find a solution to something. If you don't have anyone that you can just personally reach out, go back into a third grader. Go back into finding a solution. How do you normally find solutions to something that's tough? Do you stop? Do you draw it out? Do you analyze it? You know, do you paint it out? Do you listen to some music? Is there a song maybe that relates to that and it gives you ideas? Go back to how you do find solutions. Define that system. And then do the same thing with these tough realizations that you're having. Put that in that same system, and I guarantee you, you'll find a solution, or you'll get a step closer into figuring it out. And so that's what I mean. Find that system of the way you operate to find a solution. This is if you don't have anybody that you can speak to, right? So I gotta go through my notes, y'all. So. And then the fourth thing is really act on the solution. That's really it. So if you know the solution is okay, you talk to your friend, you find the solution, whatever it is. So the solution could be, I need to meditate more, because I hear a lot of that. I need to meditate more. Okay, act on that. Now, instead of just saying it, act on it. Once you get the solution, meditate right then and there. Set a time. I always ask people, what time of the day are you at your best? You know, some people are early risers, like 5 a.m., 4 a.m. Bless y'all, because I can't do it. Some people are afternoon people. They get a rush of energy then. Some people are late evening. And then there's some people who are night, like myself. And you just have to find those times of power, or where you're at your best to do, the things that you really want to do. So that's something else. There's another tip. Know yourself. Know at which time of the day that you are at your best. Are you an early morning, afternoon, evening, or night person? Whichever one it is, you probably might want to do some of the things that you want to do around that time, right? So that's really that, guys. Just to sum that up, make sure I got my little handy note here for you, is number 1, address them. 2, dissect them, get to the core of it. And 3, find the solution. And lastly, I said and 3. 4 is act on the solution. Now, if you're listening to this podcast, which I know you all are because you're amazing, I would like for you all to take a deep breath. Because a lot of us ain't doing that right now. Breathe from your diaphragm, not your chest, because that's just shallow. You ain't really breathing. That's that fake breathing. We ain't trying to do that. Breathe from your diaphragm. That's your stomach area. Like, let that stomach expand. So take another deep breath. Just right. It resets things. I promise y'all will feel better. There's reasons why they say take a deep breath, but y'all want to react and be different. I want to fight you now. All right, so let's go. We're going to go into the new column, so the advice column. If you didn't listen to the first episode of season 2, what I mentioned, this is going to be a new column, so it's just basically, here's how you do it. If you would like some advice, you can ask me. So message me on IG or Facebook for advice on just how to connect better with yourself or those around you. And I'll usually just pick 2 and answer them in the next episode. So again, message me on IG for Facebook if you just would like some advice on certain scenarios. And we actually have 2 here. And it's okay to say their name. Not their whole name, but the first name. So this one is from Sandra. And Sandra says, there's a lot of issues about race, gender, sexuality, and so much more. How do I begin to connect with someone who finds these subjects very sensitive? Ooh, Sandra. Actually, it's really not that hard. If you're trying to connect with somebody who finds these subjects very sensitive, you have to really go at their pace. Like, take it very slow. So here's what I mean. Usually when I'm speaking with someone who, and I know it's a topic that's very, very sensitive, there are a bunch of things that I do before I bring that conversation up. First thing is I like to change the environment. So if it's a very sensitive topic, and if I have the control to change the environment, and what I mean by that is if I'm working with this person or we're at a place and it's a lot of people, I tend to, if I really want to connect with you, I tend to take you to a place where it's just kind of like me and you, or, it's not a lot of people and you feel comfortable expressing, because I know I'm going to ask you some questions. So if you can take control of the environment, I would say that would be step one. If you can't, just find maybe a space to talk with that person alone. So that's the first step, is change the environment. The second step is really go by that person's energy, how they respond to these things. So you already know that they're sensitive. I would go by ask them a question, really feeling them out. So I would say go very slow. I say, hey, there's, a few things I would like to just kind of talk to you about, but I just wanted to know, are you even open to talking, about them? And, they may be like, oh, well, yeah, what are some things you want to talk about? And you could just say, pick one. I wouldn't overwhelm them, because if it's something that's very sensitive and they're very sensitive, pick one of them, stick to it, and just feel them out. Keep them on that one thing, and then the next time you ask them some other stuff. I wouldn't do it all in one go, because that can kind of be too much for a person. So you said race, gender, sexuality, and so much more. So I would pick. I like straight to the points, but I would pick this. Talk about the race. Ask them open questions, and just say, hey, how do you feel about this subject? What are your thoughts on it? And I would say, if you can, I don't know where your communication skills are, but I would also recommend to have a tone of sincerely, like you sincerely want to know, you're listening, and it's very open, non-judgmental, because what you can do, you can help with that sensitivity by allowing that person to feel comfortable to talk to you about, whatever it is. They won't feel like pressured. So it'll help them. And you'll notice, like, the more you do that, again, the environment, you communicating, you'll find that they're more open to talk to you about it. And then they'll come to you and ask you questions like, what do you think about this? And so then you've created, this space to, for them to talk about. But again, it's also in your tone. So, try not to attack that person. Come from a place of sincerely listening. So you really want to you want to listen more than talking. So that's what I would say. That's the first step. Because you said, how do I begin to connect with someone? So that's what I would say. Change that environment if you can. And really just go for them, ask them, are you open? That's the first thing. Are you open to it? If they say yes, good. Go with what I said. If they say no, leave it alone and, keep it at that. Don't force it. Don't make it, a thing, because it just gets crazy. So that's my advice to you, Sandra. I hope that helps. Yeah. So now we have another one from Rick Javik, and he says, I have a friend from a different country who does things very differently than I do. I want to ask him about them, but I don't want to offend him. Can you help me with this? Ooh, the L word, offend. We're in a world where people, I guess, are easily offended. And I don't personally believe that. I say that because everybody's saying that, just so you can get what I'm saying. I did that to bring you in. A lot of people say that we live in a world where people are, easily offended. And I would say it's not that people are offended easily. It's just how sometimes you say shit, to be honest with you. It's how you say it, how you deliver things. Because there's a way to talk to people, and when you say it a certain way and your energy is a certain way, yeah, people gonna react. And you gonna say, oh, well, they offended. No, they just too sensitive. No, you just lack the communication skills to say it the best way. But that's another topic, Rick Chevik. So to answer your question, simply, if I don't know what your level of your friendship is, so if it doesn't matter if they're new, they're old, whatever. You say they do different things in their country differently than you. I would switch to a mindset, or I would switch into coming from a space of genuine curiosity and educating yourself. So what I mean by that is, if there's a friend of yours your friend is from a different country, ask him the questions and also state your intentions so there's no misunderstandings. You won't have to worry about offending. So let me give you a few examples. Let's just say that I'm trying to think of something very different. I gotta think of some friends here who are okay. I have a friend who different like spirituality, right? They do things a little bit differently. And so he was talking to me about his spirituality and where he's from, what they do. And I was very curious about it. Siri, I ain't talking to you. I was very curious about it, and so I wanted to, so what I did was that I said, hey, I noticed you do this. I'm very curious. What does this mean, or what do you do in this? Because I've never seen that before, and I would genuinely like to know, like, educate me. I don't know much about that, and I would love to learn. And so that way you stated your intention. They don't think, well, okay, did that bother you? Like, you don't have to worry about offending them because your intentions were stated and you genuinely would like to know, and you're genuinely curious and you genuinely would like to be educated. So it's okay to ask them what it is, but just again, let your intentions be known as well. So if they do something way out there, right, that you've just never seen before, don't judge. Watch your tone, because that again is how you deliver. So watch the way you deliver it. So if you see them doing something completely different, like, why you do that, that's like kind of an attacking tone. That's why I say, so come from a different space, genuine curiosity, and to educate yourself. So they do something really different. Hey, John, I noticed so John, I see you do this. I have never seen that before, like, ever. What does that mean? Does it similar? Like, educate me, because I really don't know, and I'm curious. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to understand it, right? And that sometimes too, you just have to really just be raw with yourself, and don't be so concerned about how you sound in a way. Like, I personally tell people, hey, I'm very ignorant of that. Like, could you educate me? Could you tell me what that means? And you'll find that they'll be very happy to educate you. And so, talking with friends from different places, I've discovered there is a friend who he speaks 2 different languages in Africa. And as we were talking more, he was just telling me that they still have tribes there, and things like that. And so I didn't know much about it, and he was just saying, he was educating me more on, like, yeah, I'm from this tribe and we speak this, and we're around other people, a different tribe, and they speak that. And I was just like, Oh, okay. Could you tell me more? Like, educate me on, your tribe. And it was just very interesting. So there's a way that you deliver, and there's a way that you can ask questions. So again, come from a place that you want to be educated. And so, yeah, I hope that definitely helps you. Also, you're doing a really good thing by even asking, about it and not wanting to offend. So I can tell that you care about your friend. And you'll just find that if you just simply just state your intentions and they're just pure and clean, like, hey, I really don't know this, could you educate me? So if you're still new to it, just take my line, could you educate me on this because I don't know? And then you change it up in your own way. Boom, you got it. And I promise you that'll be fine. Just watch your tone. I'm not telling you to change your tone like, could you educate me on that? Like, no, just don't attack them. Like, what are you doing? Like, I ain't never seen that before. You wild. So no, don't do that. Okay, so that's it for the advice column. So guys, if you have any questions, just message me on IG or Facebook. Some of y'all know me personally, so y'all could just text me and But yeah. So just message me and I will go through the questions, pick 2. If you would like me to say your name, I could. If you don't care, just let me know too. The only reason I said their name, they were okay with it, and they put the name, so I was like, okay. So, if you want to be anonymous, you can do that. Say, hey, just don't say my name. You got it. But I think I said it last time in the message. Just if you do message me, and first thing in parentheses, just be like advice, and then boom. So yeah. All right, and so now the last segment, which is another new segment, it's called the gut check moment. So if you feeling good and I had you laughing, I'm happy. I really am. I'm really happy. But might hurt your feelings now. So if you would like to take a little pause, take another deep breath, drink some water, take a little sip of your wine, whatever you do to be good or calm down, because I'm going to come for you. Like I said in the first episode, I'm coming for all of you. Nobody's safe. So I hope you're ready for this. I'm going to be a little... No, I ain't going to be gentle with y'all. Y'all know. Y'all been with me for the first season, so y'all know how this going to go. All right, so here's the gut check moment. Mind y'all, I'm only gut checking y'all because I've been gut checked, and I really feel like if you care about people, you gotta gut check that ass sometime. You know what I mean? So let's get into this. A question. Take a breath. I'm coming for you. Now, open your mind. We have a little pause. And I'm going to ask you now in a serious moment. What is it that you are waiting for to happen right now? Are you waiting for something? And if you are, why can't you do something or anything about it, like right now? As I'm asking you this, I want you to, and answer the questions. Sorry, let me give you a moment. I'm gonna ask you again and give you the moment. Sorry. What are you waiting for to happen? Why can't you do something or anything about it now? Give you a second. Okay, thought about it. Okay, I want you to genuinely partake in this gut check. I want you to genuinely ask yourself, are those excuses? Are those things you're telling yourself? And if they are, throw them, put them to the side. And just really ask yourself now, really have a gut check moment. Is there something you can do, no matter how small, medium or large, or extra large it is? Gotta get y'all them sizes. Ask yourself, is there something that you can really do? And do it. Like, now. Like, pause me and go do it now. It's not hard. You know what I mean? And if you're like, well, Thad, I gotta do this, keep telling yourself those excuses. That's great, but you're still gonna be exactly where you are. You know what I mean? I love you, but you may not like being in that spot for a long time. I'm just saying. And I'm only telling you guys this, one, because I love you, and then number two, I had to have this talk with myself, and I've had people talk to me like, bro, what are you waiting for? And it's like, bro, I gotta wait for this, I gotta get this, I gotta get that right. This, it's just time, I gotta be patient. And it's just like, yeah, okay, I hear you, that's nice, but you can do something. Like, why are you waiting? So that's my moment for you guys. I'm not gonna attack you too hard on this, because I gotta ease you guys into this gently. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to run away. Like, I don't want you to be like, oh, we're getting to the end of the podcast and this is where he gets checking. I'm not ready for that type of energy right now, but I'm gonna give it to you regardless. Might switch up the gut check moment, so you never know when I'm coming for you. So yeah, guys, that's the gut check moment. Just really have that moment with yourself. If you're alone right now, just do something to it. And at the same time, really ask yourself, if there is a bunch of things coming up, really analyze all of that. Are they excuses? And if they are not excuses, and they're genuinely like, okay, well, Thad, I am doing this. Since you attacking me, I only got 2 days, so I really just gotta wait 2 days. But in the meantime, I can write it down on a piece of paper that I'm getting it in 2 days. And I'd be okay with that. You know what I mean? I'd be fine with that. Do that. You know what I mean? Help you. So, with that being said, guys, that is it for this podcast episode. I thank you so much for tuning in. I thank you so much for bearing, my exchanges on here. And, this fun little roller coaster of emotions and expressions. Gotta keep you guys on your toes. And yeah, guys, like I said, on YouTube now, I believe with this new upgrade on Podbean, you all who are using the Podbean app may be able to see this video on the app. So we're gonna see. But either way, on YouTube now. So now that's too many nows, bruh. Anyways, y'all can see me on YouTube, and I do plan on doing more stuff, as you guys know. So season 2, like I said, we're in this. And really, guys, that's about it. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for the energy. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate you all, like, seriously, especially like all of you guys are like everywhere now. The podcast is really everywhere. And I think if I looked on the chart right, recently, a few days ago, we just reached over the 8,000 mark of like downloads. And not only that, but for you, all of you who are new to the podcast, I welcome you, because I've been seeing like we're over now 1.7 thousand followers. So thank you for the energy. Like, y'all are amazing, really, y'all are. So I cannot wait to continue to add value to you all. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for the support. Also, thank you guys for sharing the podcast too. Like, again, I know some people who've been letting me know, like, hey, I've been sharing the podcast. I told this one friend who was having issues that I was trying to tell her that she was having these issues for, but she was in denial. So I had to send her the podcast, and apparently that helped her. So now she better now. And I'm like, oh, okay. You just threw your friend all under the bus, but okay, I appreciate it. Glad she helped out. She better. But yeah, so I appreciate y'all. Thank you for the entertainment. Thank you. Well, here we go. But yeah, guys, so I will talk to you all very soon. Enjoy the rest of your day, your night, your evening, wherever you are. And I will talk to you all soon. Later.